Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we have a very interesting video lined up for you, and we're going to be talking about the old school versus the new school cryptos. And I'm going to be explaining what do I mean by old and new school. Also, we're going to be looking at, from an investment point of view, how should you play this? Should you have exposure to both the old and the new school, or should you be perhaps more in the favor of one than the other? We'll cover all that in this video. The first thing that I really want to do, though, is explain what I mean by new and old school, or old and new school. So let's start off with the old school cryptocurrencies. Now, by old school, and crypto, it sounds weird, has not been in existence for very long, but by old school, I mean cryptos that were born under and out of the same concepts and principles that Bitcoin was, to actually challenge the traditional financial system and to provide an alternative. Okay, so things like Ethereum, things like Bitcoin, things like Cardano, potentially things like Algorand, that although they may overlap with the traditional financial system, were largely birthed through challenging and questioning the kind of traditional financial world, and actually looking to facilitate a competitor to it. That's what I mean by old school crypto. So we've given you just a few examples of what I define as this. We can perhaps give you a few more, something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like BNB, perhaps, Cardano, Polkadot, these kind of things, Avalanche, Chainlink, we think are what we're calling, for the sake of this video, old school cryptos. Filecoin, really challenging the kind of data world and the traditional side of things. And then you have what I would call new school cryptos. And the new school cryptos are defined by cryptos that actually aren't looking to do the same things as the old school cryptos, i.e. compete with the traditional financial world, but actually are looking to integrate and build on top of the traditional financial world, and bring blockchain to it. And these are cryptocurrencies such as many of the ones that are ISO 20022 compliance. They've actually been built with compliance and regulatory framework and traditional finance in mind. And you can see a sort of shortish list here. You've got Quant, which essentially is an over ledger system that is looking to make crypto accessible to institutions in a regulatory friendly manner. You've got things like XRP, Ripple. Ripple was born for fiat, almost. And some people may get a little bit offended by that, but it was essentially born to facilitate remittances. So it doesn't just have to be in fiat, it could be in anything. For the transaction of money, for the transaction of fiat. Stellar, XLM. You've of course got Hedera, IOTA, XDC network, Algorand, and so on. So maybe even Algorand would be in that kind of new school category. So these are cryptocurrencies that are predominantly focused on being institutional grade applications or layer ones or overledgers that don't seek, like the old school, to challenge the parameters of the traditional financial space, more to work with them. And I actually think this is a world that we're moving towards. You are going to get a world where you've got crypto here and you've got the traditional financial sector. They merge. Crypto 1 trillion, traditional financial sector, who knows, 600 trillion, whatever it may be. They are going to merge. And the new school is trying to capitalize off of that. And the old school is trying to challenge the traditional financial world and thus take some of its share in regards to the global wealth that's out there as a result of it. Now, just because I'm calling these old school cryptos, that doesn't mean that they're any less superior. And actually, if you look at, even with new and old school, they overlap. Because if you look at Quant Network, for example, Quant Network is trying to facilitate a operating system, an API for institutions to come along and to gain exposure to the entire crypto space and to create things like MApps, which are apps on multiple applications, potentially across different blockchains. They're trying to be a messaging service. And actually, you need the old school cryptos to do this. So it's very, very interesting. And from an investment point of view, this is not financial advice, but just my take. I would say you need exposure to both the old school and the new school. Now, I'm more predominantly in the old school cryptos, things like, Cardano, Bitcoin, Polkadot, so on and so forth. But I still want exposure to these new kind of cryptocurrencies that have been birthed to facilitate the bridging of the two industries and actually cater probably more so to the institutions and the traditional finance instead of sort of retail, like what Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and many others were born out of. So I think you actually want exposure to both sides. I don't think it's black and white. Can I see higher market caps coming out of actual operating systems that gain real world mass adoption? Yes, potentially. But that's not to say that a cryptocurrency, a project like Quant or Hedera that actually facilitate this world of crypto and traditional finance working won't do exceptionally well. I think they will. I think there's genuine merit to invest in these new school cryptocurrencies, even if they perhaps move away from the kind of original Satoshi doctrine and decentralize everything in this kind of libertarian world. Because it's coming, and this is my honest opinion, right? I think the dollar over time could disappear, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I think they're just going to rebrand it. We know the fiat system, the debt-based system is destined to fail. A centralized currency has never succeeded. And history shows us that. And usually it's because of the exact aspect of a centralization and the point of failure that is the case. So we know years down the line, we're looking at a totally new system and a complete bust. But where we are right now, there's a high likelihood of the traditional financial system getting modified by crypto, then crypto completely replacing it. Maybe in years to come, and this is the old school replacing it. Maybe in years to come, and it's kind of not even great me saying old school because then they become the new currencies. Bitcoin really is a store of value and it's being seen as that. And it's going to be used by institutions, but it was not built for institutions. It was built for everyday people that the institutions are now going to get on board with. Similar to gold, just like Ethereum. Ethereum wasn't necessarily born for institutions. It was born for everyday people under the same context that Bitcoin was, a peer-to-peer operating system that doesn't need a government, a third party, or anything else. However, the governments and institutions that are still in place are likely to stay in place and in power for the time being, the next 5-10 years, whatever it may be. So the cryptocurrencies that are looking to bring blockchain to those institutions, which we know they are doing, some of them partnered with Bank of England, so on and so forth, there's a kind of merit in investing in those and potentially being positioned towards them, as well as, of course, the old school. And this is the whole concept of diversifying your portfolio as a crypto investor. I don't think you want all your eggs in one basket. I think you want to cover a wide range of different areas and different things happening within crypto. That's certainly what I do. What you choose to do is entirely up to you. But I just wanted to kind of touch on this old and new school concept and really see what you guys think about it. Do you think I'm being a sellout to the crypto space by potentially promoting these, or not promoting, talking about in a serious light these kind of institutional grade cryptos? I personally don't think I am. I'm still very passionate about even Bitcoin. I'm very passionate about, and I'm more of a maxi on altcoins than I am Bitcoin. But I think Bitcoin's exceptionally special, and I think that it's very different from the crypto space generally in what it's trying to do in terms of being a store of value and so on and so forth. So I would love to know your comments on this. What do you guys see more value in? Is maybe a question that I'd like to ask. Do you see more value in this kind of TradFi meets crypto, institutional grade cryptocurrencies, or do you see more value in these operating systems that were meant for the masses and meant for retail? They've both taken very different paths to mass adoption. Mass adoption, I guess, is the right word. The one's trying to do it organically through providing the choice so that users can choose to not have to go through a government or an intermediary and to interact with these protocols specifically. And the other one's tried to go mass adoption through backpacking on or joining with these traditional financial institutions that already have mass adoption and being chosen by them. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think you should be more positioned as an investor. I don't have all the answers as in regards to being involved with cryptocurrencies that have more of a new school nuance? Or do you think that you should be positioned with the kind of traditional beating heart of the crypto space and what it was born out of, and these layer ones and layer twos that seek to challenge the very fabrics of the traditional financial system? Food for thought. I'd love to know your comments and opinions on it. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Hopefully you've enjoyed this content. Just a bit of an interesting talking point, an interesting perspective to consider. Catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next.